Hello, good afternoon, good evening, good morning. Hello, wherever you are. My name is Chris. This is lesson Jigsaw. We are here today for English language learners. If you're learning English and you would like to practice your speaking, practice your conversation skills, we are here for you. All you need to do is to click on the link that you see in the chat or in the comments, and we'll be able to have a conversation. Simple as that. Simple as that. So all you need to do is to click on the link. How are you today? How are you going? We've got the beautiful sunflowers behind us today. Very nice, very beautiful and relaxing. It is the 15th of February, so I hope you're having a fantastic day. It's a beautiful day today. It's a beautiful day. Nice. Where I am, bright and sunny. That is part of the reason, I think, for the sunflowers, to have a bright, sunny attitude. So yes, I hope you are having a good day. As I say, click on the link in the chat, in the comments, and you can come through, chat to us, have a conversation about whatever you want, whatever you prefer to have a conversation about. We're here to help you practice English, have a conversation to make you feel more relaxed and comfortable. That's the general gist. This is Have a Tea with Me. This is what we have called the show because, well, I'm having a tea. That's the basic reason. So I'm having a beautiful cup of tea. It's too hot at the moment for me to drink, so I'm just going to blow on the tea for a while before I can sip and enjoy the tea. Chai tea today. We've got a nice chai flavor, so I could already smell the chainess coming through. So that's fantastic. Every day we are here, every day, Monday to Friday, at 12 o'clock Universal Time. 12 o'clock Universal Time, which is many different times around the world. And for some people, they may be thinking, oh, I'm just waking up at that time, or I'm still asleep at that time, or I'm going to bed at that time, or I'm working at that time. And that's fair enough. If you do see us on the replay and you're thinking, I'd like to have a chat, but I can't because I'm doing other things at 12 o'clock Universal Time. So I can't have a chat, but what I would like to do is to have a chat sometime. So you can send us an email. You will find the little scrolling thing at the bottom. You send us an email, chatonlessonjigsaw@gmail.com, and we can arrange to have a conversation, have a chat together about, like I say, about whatever you want to talk about. Maybe you just want to have a general conversation about whatever's happening in the world, in your life. Maybe you want to practice going to the supermarket and ordering some things from the delicatessen counter, from the deli counter. Maybe you want to practice introducing yourself. Maybe you're in a place or in a role where you have to speak with lots of people from other countries, maybe native English speakers, or maybe people from other countries, but English is the language they use to communicate. So we can practice doing introductions and saying I don't know, who you are, where you're from, what you do, all of that sort of stuff. It's just an opportunity to practice different stuff. Maybe it's you want to practice describing your favorite TV show. I don't know. Lots and lots of different things that we could possibly practice. So the opportunity is there for you. Why? Why, I hear you ask? Well, you can't, this is the thing, you can't beat practice. You can't beat practice. I'm going to say this all the time, pretty much, is because you can't avoid practice. You can learn a lot from reading and listening. You can get a lot of vocabulary, expressions. It can help you with grammar, lots of different things. But there is something about actually writing and actually speaking that really, really helps develop your English, cement it, make it more permanent, make it inside you. And this is the reason we're here, is because maybe you are thinking, okay, I've learned a lot in my English classes, or when I've been learning English or studying the different books. Maybe I'm using grammar books all the time or something, but I never get the chance to really speak. Well, this is the chance. This is an opportunity for you, and that's what it's all about. Just providing you with an opportunity to chat. So all you got to do is click on that link, and we can have a chat. If you don't click on the link, what happens? Well, I'm just going to chat to myself, and I'm going to practice having a conversation with myself, which I always think is really weird, because I know everyone talks to themselves in their head, and you, I don't know, psych yourself up, or you talk about different things, or what you might do or say, or you do a commentary about a situation that you're seeing or something. But of course, it's always different when you when you say it, when you speak out loud and there's no one else around. It is a little bit strange. It is a little bit strange. So, but this is to fill in the time, I guess. While no one else is here, no one is conversing. If you are here, please come and say hello. It's a nice thing to do. I guess the normal general politeness, I guess, is what we could say. So yeah, come and say hello. That's all it is. I've said before on one of these is that this particular chai that I have, it's mixed with chocolate. So I think, I don't know, I may need to, next time I get a chai tea, I may need to get a different brand or different variety, because I think perhaps the chocolate is a bit too overwhelming, the chai anyway. It's not as delicate perhaps as it should be. Okie dokie. So, well, while I'm waiting and chatting, I'm just going to talk to myself about stuff, and I'm going to talk about getting a haircut. And sometimes the hair gets a little bit long, a little bit ragged, or there's just dead ends, particularly with longer hair, and you need to have your hair cut. So you need to go somewhere and they cut your hair. Or maybe it's just because you like to be pampered. Maybe you like to be pampered every so often. It's a nice feeling, I guess, when you have something done and people do things for you. It's like a treat. It makes you feel good and that sort of thing. So my question to you is, what makes a good hairdresser or barber? What makes a good hairdresser or barber? It could be lots of things, lots and lots of things. I would imagine most people, I don't know, most people would tend to go to the same hairdresser or barber, generally. I imagine that's the case. You tell me if that's not the case, but I imagine that's the case. People would tend to go to the same one. I guess there's a familiarity. We like to go to people we know and to places that we know. We can feel comfortable and confident with that. So I don't know, but I find it hard to find a really good one. I don't know. I think sometimes they I don't know. Sometimes it's a bit too mechanical with some places. Maybe you have a question. What's a barber? Do you know what a barber is? Barber mainly focuses on men's hair. That tends to be the thing with a barber, whereas a hairdresser pretty much does any hair. And a hairdresser tends to normally do more well, I was going to say more intricate or more detailed things with the hair, although that's probably not really right these days. Perhaps traditionally, in the past, that was right. So particularly people with long hair, if they want to have something like curls or a particular styling with the hair, to have I don't know, like a wave or change the color to dye the hair, something along those lines, they would tend to go to a hairdresser, I think, more often than not. Perhaps sometimes you could do that in a barber. I guess there would have been the case for that in the past for some gents, some gentlemen. But generally, I think when we think of going to a barber, we think of more sort of straight back and sides, or short back and sides, like with a straight cut or a curved sort of cut around the back, and very much sort of like a simple combing the hair and that sort of thing. Whereas with a hairdresser, you have more of everything. I think that's traditionally, but these days you have, I don't know, with all the razors, and you have all the different designs in the hair, and that sort of thing. It's tend to, when I say now, we're talking the last, well, maybe more than I imagined. But I think in general popular culture, probably in the last 20 years in particular, and then obviously you could go back even more, perhaps with different communities, it's been a tradition. But certainly, like if you look at the designs people have in their hair, in the little cuts, like the different sort of arrows and that sort of thing, and the lines, maybe it does go back 30, 40 years, but it was less to actually see that in different places. I think was less common, depending on, of course, in different trends. It could have also been different trends at different times. Hello to Sonia. Sonia sent a message on Facebook. Hope you're doing well, Sonia. How's your day going? Oh, it's the temperature's coming down, so I can sit there now. Hope you're having a great day, Sonia. Thanks for watching. Whereabouts are you from, Sonia? What part of this incredible planet that we're on are you from? So I guess that's the general question at the moment. Where or what makes a good hairdresser or a good barber? And for me, I guess there's a few things. When I had a think about this, I think there's a few things that's important. For me, I think one of the things, and this is why I was saying before, it can be difficult to have or to find a good hairdresser or barber, is that a lot of the times they don't have, not all of them have the right equipment. And they have, I guess, depending on what hair they normally cut and what sort of procedures or cuts they normally do, they have certain things and other things not. So I don't know. But I found a lot of places, if you go to a hairdresser, I found some hairdressers, they don't have things like razors and stuff. If you want to sort of cut the top of the hair or at the back to make it nice and tight, that's it's not common in some hairdressers. So that's a bit of a problem that I found. Sonia's from Argentina. Oh, fantastic. Beautiful, beautiful country. Not that I've been there, but from what I've seen in videos and that sort of thing, from travel guides and everything. Yes, it's on my to-do list. So how's your day, Sonia? What have you been up to today? Or maybe I guess perhaps it's early morning in Argentina. Let's have a look. As I say, what is this? Well, it's not too bad. Okay, it's not as bad as I thought. So it's about 9:15 in the morning. That's pretty good. Just a reminder, this is Have a Tea with Me. This is the name of the program. The channel is Lesson Jigsaw. Why are we here? We're here to have a chat. At the moment, I'm just chatting with myself. But if you would like to have a chat, you will see a link in the comments, and all you got to do is press that link, and you can come through and we can have a chat. We can have a conversation about whatever you like. We're basically here for you to practice. Particularly if you're an English language learner and you want to practice speaking, practice conversational skills, you can just click on the link and you can come through. Simple as that. And of course, if this is not a good time to chat, you'll see the email passing across the bottom of the screen there, and that's chatonlessonjigsaw@gmail.com. That's chatonlessonjigsaw@gmail.com. And if there's another time and that sort of thing that may be better, you can shoot us an email and we can see if we can find a time that's good for both of us to practice, and we can do a live stream at a different time. So simple as that. So we have avenues, we have ways to arrange something that's suitable for everyone. But that's basically why we're here. We're just here to practice English conversation. And while no one is speaking to me, I will speak to myself. is the thing. Okay, so that's one of the things. Having the right equipment, I think, is important. Okay, let's see what's saying. So from my point of view, a good hairdresser could offer a good environment, good attention, and responsibility. Okay, yes. Now, this is going to be the trick. So what makes all these things that are, I guess, given the description, what makes a good environment and what is good attention? I think responsibility can be pretty general. What makes a good environment? Because I guess for some people, what makes a good environment for one may not be good for others. And I think it's one of those, it depends. And I think it can also depend on different countries and different cultures, what people are used to and what the expectation is, and that sort of thing. For example, a good environment, maybe it needs to be very clean. I often see barbershops where they've been cutting a series of people's hair, but they never clean underneath the chair. So you're walking through these little mounds, let's say, of hair, and you have to sort of navigate your way through. And good attention, what is good attention? I guess is another question. So it could be attention to the haircut, or attention to conversation, something like that. There could be different possibilities there. It was interesting. Very good point, Sonia. I'd like to develop those a little bit more. That's interesting. But I certainly think they're definitely worth considering. Absolutely. And when you mention good attention, one of the things that I think is important, let me take myself out of the way there. I think one of the important things when you say good attention, I consider asking before doing is particularly important. As a teacher, as an English teacher, I've often been in the situation where, not necessarily for teaching younger learners or kids and that sort of stuff, but more for when teaching adults. A lot of adults ask or say, like I say, oh, what would you like to learn, or what would you like to include in the course or the classes that we're doing? And then you'll have a lot of students who just go, oh, well, you're the teacher, you're the professional, it's up to you. And I don't know, I always find that comment interesting when they say it's up to you. You do whatever you think is necessary, because we could do a class on zoos and zoo animals and a day at the zoo, but that may not be particularly relevant for you. So that's why I would ask, what is important for you? What situations would you be using English in? So I always find it interesting when a student says, or you're the professional, you do whatever is necessary. So I think maybe some people might disagree with me here. Beautiful flavor there. I think some professionals people might disagree with me, because people may think, oh, okay, so if I go to a hairdresser, I expect the hairdresser to know what looks good. And the hairdresser should just know and be able to do the cut. I say generally what I want, or I bring in a photo or something like that, and they should be able to do it. And I think in that sort of thing, if you've given them a photo or a good description of what you want, I guess maybe the hairdresser or barber should be able to take care of it. But I don't know, personally, for me, I think for some things you need to ask before doing. So one of the things that I particularly don't like is when hairdressers use thinning scissors, like you can see on the screen there. When they use thinning scissors and they're cutting the hair unevenly all over the place. I don't know. I always think they should ask or check if that's okay. I think for me anyway, I find a different, not necessarily like immediately, but over weeks after, there's a different effect when people are using thinning scissors, and then other people use thinning scissors, and then other people use thinning scissors. There's sort of like a messy messy effect in the hair, and then the hair sort of gets a bit messed up, and you have sort of like little spiky bits of hair, and it's a bit harder to control from my point of view. So that's why these days I tend to always be really careful watching when they cut and what scissors they're using, or I tell them don't use thinning scissors, that sort of thing. I also have this thing where I had this hairdresser once, and I said, I just want a little bit off, sort of like all around, but not too much. Don't make it short. And I tried to watch, but she was cutting my hair in such a way where her arm was always in front of my face, and I couldn't really look into the mirror, so I couldn't really see what she was doing. And I had no reason to suspect otherwise. But then when she took her arm away finally, and I looked, and I'm like, I think she misinterpreted my only take a little bit off to maybe be only leave a little bit left. It was like almost like getting like the clippers or something, like a number 2 or something all around. But she did it with scissors, so I guess, good job for that. But that's not what I wanted. I wanted just a little bit off. So I think that's a difficult one sometimes. So Sonia said a hairdresser could offer a comfortable chair. I absolutely agree with that, and particularly if you have to be there for quite a while. I know with some treatments, or if you're dyeing the hair or getting particular styles, you can be sitting down for quite a lot. A clean environment and good products. I guess the good products, I guess, if you go to a hairdresser that I guess that's a little bit easier. I know some people like products with and without certain ingredients. And there's marketing about what's good and bad to have included in different products. And different people, of course, with the chemicals, they can have different reactions to that. So, but I certainly think definitely also with a clean environment, I do think it's nice when they have someone sweeping up after every cut, or even during cuts. Quite often they get, I'm not sure if this is in every place, but they often have an apprentice. An apprentice who's coming through and sweeping every, I don't know, 5 or 10 minutes, it seems, in between washing hair. I think it seems to be. But yeah, certainly, yes. I like those suggestions, Sonia. Thank you very much. I definitely I agree with that. I also think what makes a good hairdresser or barber is also doing everything you pay for. I've had this in a few different places where they give you a price, but then when they put the price into the machine, they include things like, that's why I've got the picture of the shampooing here. Is like they add on a price for shampooing, and I'm like, oh, but we didn't do shampooing. Why am I paying for shampooing? He goes, oh, well, it's all included. I say, well, it's included, but I didn't receive it. And the interesting thing was like, this has happened a couple of times, and both times the reaction's been, well, it's only $1 or only €1 or wherever the currency is for the place. And I'm like, well, okay, if it's only one, why not go one the other way and give me a $1 discount or something, since it's only one. I don't know. I think it's an interesting way of approaching the situation for some hairdressers. But I certainly think if they just put one price altogether is better, so you don't see those individual things. I agree with you, Sonia. When some hairdressers, when they wash the hair, it can be very relaxing. I do like the head massage that they give the head sometimes in some places, not all places, but some places. I think that's certainly a very relaxing thing. I've been to some places where, I don't know if it's maybe just for men, they do it differently for women, or I'm not sure. Perhaps if you have longer hair, obviously they need to spend more time to wash. That could possibly be it. But yeah, I've been in, well, most places, it tends to be very functional. So they wash it just like, even like, I guess it's more even just getting the hair wet or getting any sort of like gels and stuff out of the hair. And the wash is over in 30 seconds, 45 seconds, over to the chair, do the haircut, and then back to wash the hair again, this time a bit more thoroughly, and then using the conditioner. But occasionally when they do the head massage, I think that's a particularly relaxing thing. Then it can be difficult to actually get up and and when they do the setting of the hair or the final styling of the hair, I think that could be, you get into a very much a state of relaxation. So I find that quite interesting. But absolutely, it's that can be a very, very pleasant experience. So just a reminder, if you're just joining us, this is Lesson Jigsaw. This is Lesson Jigsaw is the channel, and Have a Tea with Me is the name of the program. We are here for you to practice English. So at the moment, I'm just speaking to myself because no one else is around, but certainly we invite you to click on the link in the comments or in the chat, and you can participate. You can chat about whatever you like. I'm just chatting about hair and hairdressers at the moment because, well, why not? But certainly, if you like to click on the link, you can come on through and chat about anything. And also at the bottom of the screen, you'll see our email address, chatonlessonjigsaw@gmail.com. And you can send us an email. And if now is not a good time for you to chat, we can find another time. Hopefully that is more agreeable for both of us. And then we can find a chat to time to live stream and have a chat and practice conversational and speaking skills. So that's what we're all about: conversation and speaking in English, and the practice for that. So if you're an English language learner, we are here for you. Okay, and then I guess the other thing, and this sort of goes along the lines of what Sonia was saying when she was saying a clean environment or a good environment. When she said good environment, she was mentioning cleanliness. I also think, and the chair, I also think something that's important. A lot of hairdressers like to have either music or like a TV going. The only thing I find not particularly necessary with that is I think it should be at a volume so you could still be conversational with them. I think sometimes in some places where I've been, it's almost like I'm going to exaggerate a little bit, but almost like a nightclub in terms of the volume that they keep the music at, which is maybe great for the people working there. They have to sort of get through their day or a long shift. And so the music makes it go faster, but I certainly think it can still go faster if the volume was more sort of background level. So it's still easy to have a general conversation, if you like. I think that's quite important as well. But that's me. What do you think? Let me know in the comments. What do you think about music and having the TV in a hairdresser's or in a barber's? Is that okay, or do you sometimes experience when the music or the sound is a little bit too high? Let me know. So, just as a note, I think this is a good little expression to practice. A bit of some words to practice. A nice little chunk. So if we're looking into the future, we could say something like, I will have my hair cut. Because you could also say, I will cut my hair. That is very possible. But if you say, I will cut my hair, that means you do it. And so the way that we tend to say it and write it is, you will have your hair cut. You could also say, I will get my hair cut. That's also possible as well. So have or get will both work in most situations. So let me ask you, what else do you have done? What else do you have done? What are some other activities that other people do for you? And so the general, I guess the general words that we're using is to have something done. So sometimes you might see, I see this sometimes in train stations or on the street, something like that. You have the people who clean shoes and polish shoes, make them, particularly for business folk. They want to make their shoes nice and shiny for a meeting or whatever it could be. And so they could have their shoes cleaned, or they can have their shoes polished. is another example. So there are actually quite a few things you can have done. But the idea is that you don't do it. Someone else does it for you. So maybe there's a problem. Maybe you have a fence around the place where you live, and maybe it's broken. So you have the fence repaired. So I had to call up the carpenter, and he came out, and he repaired, or she repaired the fence, but I had the fence repaired. Yeah, so the person repaired the fence, but I had the fence repaired. So this is quite similar to the same sort of mode that we're talking about. So you have your haircut. The hairdresser cut my hair, but I had my hair cut. And of course, we can change it for present, past, and future. All of those good things. Well, I guess that's my bit. I hope you've been having a good day, a good time. As I say, this is Have a Tea with Me. My name is Chris. The channel is Lesson Jigsaw. If you would like to come on and have a chat, speak with us, practice your speaking skills, practice your conversation skills, which is mainly what we are here for, we do invite you to click on the link and you can come on through. Okay, so you're learning English and you'd like to improve your English. That's fantastic. That is fantastic, Sonia. And how are you improving? How are you improving your English language abilities? Sonia, I'm not sure where in Argentina you are. Well, I guess you said before you're from Argentina. It doesn't necessarily mean you're in Argentina now, but I'm going to assume you're in Argentina. So I guess the question is, what opportunities do you have to practice English? Like I always say on here, it's certainly very good to do things like to be in a class, to read things, to do different exercises, activities. Okay, in Buenos Aires, the capital. Okay, nice. So yeah, it's always good to do different activities. I always, when I'm with my students, one thing I like to try and consider is when if you're in an English class, if it's with a group or whatever, is consider how much time in that class am I producing? So how much time am I writing or speaking English? I think that's an important question to ask if you're in an English class now, or you're thinking about, say, signing up for an English class. I think that's it's very important to consider. I think really in any class, in general, should average at least more than 50% of production time. So writing or speaking, if it's talking to the teacher, if it's talking to other students, if it's writing a story perhaps, or doing something in your mobile phone to use the voice recorder or something like that, at least 50% of the time should be producing. Maybe not every class. Sometimes you will need to receive more occasionally. Maybe you're going through a text and that sort of thing. But certainly I think it's very important to produce. And that's part of the reason why I'm here. I consider this sort of like a bridge, sort of halfway between real life and classroom life. Because this is a freer type of conversation that we encourage here. But it's not as strict perhaps as in in some classrooms where they're focusing on certain things. The main aim is for people to get more confident speaking English. That is really the aim, to get people more confident. I have a lot of students where they say, oh, yeah, but I only really want to speak with other people also like outside the classroom if I can speak really well. And I'm like, well, you know, it's whenever you start speaking, whenever you get to whatever that level is that you think, it's going to take time. It's going to take time. So if you're going to wait 2 or 3 years before you speak to people outside, I think you're losing time, because I think people need to try and use as many opportunities as they can to speak English and to write English. It's all about production. You can always have lots and lots of stuff that you're receiving. So you give lots of, I know classes, they love to have grammar training and just look at newspaper articles and that sort of thing. But unless you're actually producing and doing something with that, you can have a list of, 20 words, 100 words, 5,000 words, and that's great. But when are you using them? If you're not actually using them, it's just a collection of words. Doesn't necessarily mean you have to remember all of the words, but if you use them and become more familiar with using them in different contexts and practice using them, you become better, and that's what it's all about. And to try and practice using different words, different structures. And then when you're conversing with someone, when you're chatting with someone, so obviously that's more in terms of speaking, but it can be through a text conversation as well. You get more accustomed to trying different things and seeing what works, what the other person understands, and what the other person doesn't understand. Maybe you're telling a story, and you get a response from the other person, and it's like, oh, they've understood something completely different. So then you can look at, then you have to look at perhaps the words that you used, or if you used the right time. So maybe your story was all about the present when it should have been the past, or something like that. So it's I guess understanding the meaning is the main thing. If you're getting the meaning across correctly, that's the main thing. Yeah, Sonia, we certainly agree on this. Sometimes I feel that English language or English teaching makes a focus on grammar. Yeah, it's not too bad, but it could be boring. Yeah, or I could be bored. Yeah, absolutely. I think there needs to be certainly more focus on getting out there and using English. Of course, there has to be grammar, because well, without grammar, you don't have any way of telling the time. And I know there are some languages where you have, like, you would say everything, something like, I go fishing yesterday, or I go fishing tomorrow, or I go fishing now, or I go fishing today. And so the actual time is just put at the end, or something along those lines. And so you don't change the verb and that sort of thing. And so that can be handy, but I think the main time when you need to focus on grammar is when you're trying to communicate something and a different message is being received. That could be for a few things, not just because of grammar. But I think that's, if like I say before, if you were telling a story and the person thinks you're telling a story about what's happening in the future, when in fact you were just reflecting about something that happened last week, you need to sort of work on the grammar with that. So just check some of the words with that. So those sorts of things can be important, but other bits of grammar, perhaps not so important. So I think we certainly need to prioritize which grammar is really important. And I strongly encourage people to practice, fight through whatever grammar worries they may have, and just keep going through, trying to speak and trying to write, and checking the message that's being received. Even if you're only writing for yourself, writing, I don't know, a letter or an email, you write it to yourself, and then you come back a week later and you look at it and you say, oh, okay, let me just check this email and see if when I read it fresh, if this is actually what I meant, and are there any alternatives or different ways that I can say it. It could be something with grammar, it could just be vocabulary, or it could just be different options, or maybe it's perfect. Maybe perfect in the sense that the message is getting through. Yeah. But I certainly think, above all else, you got to get out and practice. You got to get out and practice. You know, the Olympics is on at the moment, the Winter Olympics, and you have to think, how many of these athletes that are in the Olympics now, doing all their different tricks and stunts and techniques and everything else, how much of that improved through watching videos or just listening to people? I imagine there could be some improvement, because maybe they can see something that they need to change, but they're only actually going to change it when they're doing it. So maybe they've got to practice on the ice or on the slopes or whatever it is. But the theory can be there, but you have to actually practice it. And so in terms of a language, that's writing, that's speaking. And there's no way of getting around it. So yes, I think we definitely agree there, Sonia, that there is quite often, and this is in a lot of books as well, you will see this, not all books, but a lot of English language learning books. There is a strong focus, or let me say, too strong a focus on grammar, where perhaps there should be more focus on activities, doing things, and you fix up the grammar. The grammar's got to do with the message and the communication, what's relevant. You know, it's always strange, isn't it, that we learn, if you go through a lot of the grammar books and a lot of the teaching books, you just do the presents first. And it's like, where more commonly you might say a bit of present to introduce yourself to someone, but then more commonly you would need to tell a story about what happened this morning, like earlier this morning in the past, or what happened yesterday, or something like that. It's curious the way that need, and it's how it's replicated in sort of like one book had the framework, and then all the other books followed suit. But there is nothing like real practice. Nothing like real practice. Okay. Well, this is Have a Tea with me every day at 12 o'clock Universal Time. You can come and join us. Thank you very much for your participation today, Sonia. Appreciate the messages. And as I say, if now is not a good time to talk for anyone who's watching the replay or watching now, if now is not a good time to talk, you can shoot us an email, chatonlessonjigsaw@gmail.com. Write us a message, and you can see if we can work out a time that's a little bit better suited for both of us, and we can see if we can arrange a time. Because I know if you watch any of the previous editions of this, most of the time, not all the time, but most of the time, I'm speaking to myself, and that's not really the point of what this is. So the point here is to give you an opportunity to speak, and see how your message is delivered. Have a conversation, chat about things, and hopefully you become more comfortable, more confident speaking. Take away some of those barriers that we place in front of ourselves, because maybe we worry about mistakes and that sort of thing. I think the only mistake is not practicing. That's the only mistake really for a lot of people. Sonia, thank you very much. I appreciate the positive words that you're sharing with me there. Thank you very much. But certainly, I do invite you to, if you want to come on sometime, you can send us an email to see if we can find a time, or yeah, and along those lines, or indeed you can click on the link. One of the days we're here every day, Monday to Friday. So we certainly welcome you to join, and everyone else to join us as well. So that's it for today. Don't forget to subscribe, follow, all those sorts of things. But the most important thing is that hopefully you stay positive with English and you can practice English writing and speaking. So fingers crossed for that. We will see you again tomorrow at well, around about this time. Sometimes I'm a little bit late. Sorry about that, but we'll try and fix up the punctuality. So anyway, have a good day and take care. We'll see you next time. Take care, and hope you're enjoying your tea. Have a good